Welcome. So, if you're tuning into this, you've just cleared the incredibly grueling NEET UG, INICT, or AIIMS nursing exams. Take a breath, celebrate that massive achievement because you've definitely earned it. But the journey isn't quite over yet, is it? Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to master the absolute final boss of your medical admissions journey, the AIIMS counseling process. Think about it. You've conquered the textbooks, the mock tests, and the crazy exam day anxiety. But now you're facing a completely different kind of beast. The counseling process can feel like this high-stakes labyrinth of portals, preference lists, and super rigid deadlines. And honestly, a single misstep here could actually cost you the seat you just spent years working for. But hey, don't sweat it. We're going to break this daunting process down into 5 totally manageable phases. The AIIMS counseling journey, registration and secure login, mastering your preference list, navigating seat allotment rounds, and finally, document verification and reporting. All right, let's dive right into Phase 1, the AIIMS counseling journey, mapping out this final trial. The entire AIIMS counseling process fundamentally boils down to a pretty straightforward 4-step roadmap. First, you register your intent to participate. Second, you strategically fill in your campus choices. Third, you wait for the system to allocate a seat based on your rank and preferences. And fourth, you physically report to the campus to claim your prize. It really is that simple when you look at it from a high-level view. Moving right along to Phase 2, registration and secure login. I like to call this choosing your digital door. First things first, your path actually diverges here based on your specific course. If you're aiming for an MBBS or BDS seat, you absolutely must head over to the Medical Counseling Committee website, better known as the MCC portal. But if you're a nursing or paramedical candidate, your entire process stays directly on the AIIMS exams official portal. So knowing which digital door to open is essentially step 0. For the MBBS candidates heading over to the MCC portal, there are a few financial requirements up front. You'll need to pay a non-refundable registration fee, that's 1,000 rupees for general, OBC, and EWS, or 500 rupees for SC, ST, and PWD candidates. Alongside that, there's a refundable security deposit of 10,000 rupees and 5,000 rupees respectively. Make sure your online payment methods are loaded and ready to go. Now for our nursing and paramedical candidates, you can breathe a huge sigh of relief this year. In the past, you had to jump through the hoops of a separate, fresh registration for counseling. Thankfully, they've scrapped that step. You simply log into the AIIMS portal using the exact same candidate ID and password you used to grab your admit card. Easy. Okay, Phase 3, mastering your preference list. This is where strategy triumphs over pure chance. You're going to be looking at a list of up to 19 or 20 AIIMS campuses, depending on your course. So, how do you rank them? Well, your absolute first priority has to be academics and clinical exposure. Please do not just pick a campus because it happens to be close to your hometown. After clinical exposure, your secondary considerations should be proximity to home, hostel availability, which is usually excellent across AIIMS, by the way, and finally, the overall fee structure. To really put this into perspective, think about the number 1,628. That's the highly subsidized approximate annual fee in rupees for the MBBS program at a top campus like AIIMS Delhi. And yes, that includes tuition, hostel, and other charges. I mean, it is literally an absolute steal for a world-class medical education. That's exactly why nailing your preference list is so crucial. Listen up because this is the most critical technical warning of the entire process. Once you've meticulously arranged your campuses on the portal, you absolutely must click Submit and Lock Choices before the strict deadline, like 5 p.m. on August 6th for nursing, for example. If you forget, your choices will just automatically submit as they are. And once they're locked, there's no going back. Absolutely no edits can be made. All right, on to Phase 4. Navigating seat allocation rounds. Let the waiting game begin. So, seat allocation basically cascades down through several rounds. It often kicks off with a mock round for certain exams, just to give you a feel for where you might stand. Then comes the real deal, round 1. If seats are left vacant or rejected, they cascade right down into round 2, followed by a mop-up round, and then finally a stray vacancy round to catch any last remaining seats. Now, when that round 1 allotment list drops, if you get assigned a seat, you've got a massive decision to make. You can choose to freeze, meaning you happily accept the allotted seat, lock it in permanently, and move on to admission. Or you can choose to float, or upgrade. This is a brilliant little mechanic that lets you hold on to your current seat while still tossing your name into the hat for round 2 just in case a higher preference campus suddenly becomes available. Let's assume you've frozen your seat. Awesome. We now advance to Phase 5, document verification and reporting. Time to go physically claim your prize. The whole digital process stops right here. You must physically show up to your allotted AIIMS campus. And you're going to need a rock-solid survival checklist of original documents. We're talking your provisional allotment letter, original printouts of your NEET admit card and scorecard, your Aadhaar card, domicile and category certificates, plus your 10th and 12th academic mark sheets. Oh, and definitely bring multiple sets of photocopies and passport photos just to be safe. So the crucial point I want to emphasize here is this: do not show up empty-handed. If you roll in for document verification, but your documents are incomplete or missing, you could actually be required to drop a massive penalty deposit of 1 lakh rupees just to hold your spot. Being organized here is quite literally worth its weight in gold. And just a really quick insider tip for our nursing candidates. If you secure an admission, take the seat, but then later decide to abandon it, there's a clearly stated penalty of 500 rupees. It's a tiny detail, but knowing the rules of the game just gives you total control. Also, when you report to a campus, like, say, AIIMS Rishikesh, you aren't just handing over a stack of paper. Physical reporting actually involves a mandatory medical fitness examination conducted right there on campus by a registered medical board. You literally have to prove you're academically, bureaucratically, and physically ready for the grueling medical training that lies ahead. A few quick pro tips for your trip. Be totally prepared to pay your actual admission fees on the spot via card, NEFT, or online portals. Also, because the whole medical check and document verification thing can drag on, official guidelines highly recommend packing an overnight bag just in case the process spills over into a second day. Oh, and once you're officially admitted, you have exactly 7 days to register on the anti-ragging website. Before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one absolutely vital piece of advice from the experts. Do not panic. If the portal starts lagging or if your seat allotment option doesn't magically appear the very millisecond the clock strikes, just wait for the site to update. There are literally millions of data points processing. Keep your cool, double-check that your name was actually on the qualifying result list, and just check back a bit later. You've already done the hardest part. You proved your medical knowledge. But as this explainer shows, securing your seat requires an entirely different kind of mastery. A mastery of organization, timelines, and strategy. You've conquered the exam, but are you really going to let a single missed deadline, an unlocked preference list, or a missing 10th grade mark sheet cost you your dream seat? Stay sharp, stay organized, and go claim what is yours.